figured out already, we're here to talk about data. Let's play a drinking game. Every time we hear the word data, we have to take a sip. Okay? If you don't understand why we like it so much, it's because we use data to get answers to our questions. And more often than not, the questions we ask are actually about humans. We love to talk about other humans. We're obsessed with ourselves. You see, we want to know if other humans are going to be on our train. Our other speaker is going to talk about social communities, again, human behaviors. So, if we want to study modern humans, well, it's actually kind of easy today to get data. They are around to ask them, we can probe them in different ways, and we can even watch them from space if we're creepy enough. So, with modern humans, we can often have more data than we need even. What happens if we had a question about humans who lived thousands of years ago? They're not around to ask, so we have to rely on the things that they left behind. So we have to dig once to find what they left behind. But the most difficult part is we have to dig again, in a sense, to get from those objects to data that we can use. Now we can just look at the objects, observe them, and make some conclusions. We can analyze the objects. This is where I come in. We get some answers, and then we have to relate it back to those humans. Now, I'll tell you an example here. This is my friend Bob. Bob is dead. And I want to find out who he was, how was he living. I want to find out about him. Let's walk through the process of what things he would have left behind and what kind of answers I would get from those. So the first thing is his bones. Now, from this material, if I was just observing it and I was lucky enough to find the right bones, I could tell if Bob was a guy or a gal. I could tell his age when he died, and I could even talk about diseases that he might have had during his lifetime or accidents. But the most interesting thing is that if I actually analyze his bones, I can find information about how old they are. So how far back was Bob living? I can find information about what he was eating. Okay, not anything too specific here. I can tell if he was eating meat or plants or fish. And I can tell if he kept living in one place all his life or if he was moving around. So already, I already know a bit more about Bob. You see, slowly, we're going to get there. The other thing Bob has left behind are his stuff, the things he was using in his everyday life, a ceramic jar where he was storing his food, or the tools that he was using. By looking at those, I can already understand some behaviors, how he would be using them. I can try to imagine what his house would look like. But again, if I analyze them with lab techniques, I can understand the technology behind them. How was he making them? You see, today we tend to think that technology is a smartphone or a laptop. But actually, any man-made object that serves a purpose, that is a tool, it's technology. This jar is as much technology as this sword, as your phone today. So by looking at them, I can tell how he was making them. I can know how advanced he was. And I can also tell if he was using raw materials from his place or from somewhere else. What contacts did he have? I know a bit more now. Finally, I can look at Bob's environment. I can look at his house, how it was organized, how his whole town was structured. And I can also look at the natural environment. I can look at the plants he was growing, or if there was a big earthquake that hit his community. So by now you would think, okay, that's enough. I can tell who he was. Well, the thing is that Bob was not alone. He's not an isolated thing. There is a whole social structure to understand there. And this is much more complicated because the information that I have gathered, all these little things, these are not answers to my questions. These are clues. And now I have dig again through those clues. Pick the ones that are relevant and ask different types of questions. And this is why we actually have to think thrice. Find the objects, get the data, get some intermediate data, and then get your answers. So you see, it's not as easy as what I said in the beginning, but it actually works. And if you want to see how we do it, if you want to see how we analyze and how we come to conclusions, you can come to our event this Sunday, and I'll have more than 7 minutes. So then I'll be able to tell you exactly how we dig thrice. Thank you.